Welcome to the UDP broadcast, a podcast where a group of friends get together and talk about gaming-related topics and offer both informed and uninformed opinions. I'm Luminary, and I'm accompanied today by my co-hosts, the Nordic Cajun,
We back, baby.
Imee, the Eternal Barcode,
Hello!
and from the Emerald Dream, Raina, the Crit Chicken.
Man, my wings are very sore from all that flapping.
We're back, episode 38. Pretty much a catch-up episode, see what's going on, who's doing what, and who's doing who. But before all of that...
Oh,
Oh my!
Oh,
We'll use our context clues for that one. But anyway,
that door was wide open and Lumi ran right through it.
before we do that, let's let Ivy go through our Trevor project.
Completely unprepared, as always.
Mm.
So the Trevor Project is a charity that is working to end suicide among gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and questioning young people. So for every ad you watch, every bit or sub donation you give, or anything like that, 10% of all revenue goes to them, and it is a very worthwhile cause. So thank you for supporting us, and thank you for supporting them. And just a quick reminder, this is an opinion show and does not reflect official company policies or views. So in other words, we're poor, we're uninformed, so please don't sue us. That's perfect. I love that. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Now the most important thing for the night.
Oh, yeah.
Ready up, bitches.
We forgot all about that.
bring my flasks.
Oh, man. So, what do we got? Catching up to Musk, episode 38. This is going to be interesting. So, in case you didn't keep up with the last episode, Crit Chicken was going to be flapping her way to the land of hot and cold running maple syrup to meet
Tree
our
blood,
resident
Tree blood.
barcode and spend some time with them. So there we're back. We're seeing what's going on. Do you guys want to recap that? Or do you want to save that for the round table at the end?
Round
I
table.
think it's
Round
I
table.
like the
round table. Sure.
I was gonna say open the show up with the good stuff.
No,
The
they can
good
wait.
stuff is she helped me bottle a lot of wine, and holy
Yeah, but
shit, is
they
it
can-
good?
They can wait for
Ooh.
the good stuff later, though.
Man,
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
playing, if
She-
you know what I'm playing.
She did find out that I have wine glasses that are deceivingly large, and when I tell you that you can pour half a glass, if you pour half a glass, that is half a bottle. She found out. Good times were had by all.
Sounds like a great time.
Yep.
Yes, just hold my beer and watch this.
Yeah, Crit Chicken involved until the chicken.
Chicken.
Very shiny.
It
lit
was
chicken.
it was entertaining. I mean, you know, I found out that she's a hold my beer kind of woman, and I'm a hold my beer kind of barcode.
We stand that in this community.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But
Hold my
barcode,
beer and watch this shit.
barcode. Guess what? The most
What?
amazing thing is I didn't get a hangover either time.
Perfect.
There we go.
Best case scenario.
You are well equipped to handle anything the barcode could throw at you.
Well,
Perfect.
duh, I'm half Greek and half Irish.
You know, I heard that as half Irish. And
I
I'm like-
did too.
It's just-
Irish.
Yes, I'm vampire Irish.
Ah.
Alcohol.
I want to suck your pint. All right. Well, so
I'm gonna go murder some trees. I'm out of tree blood.
so let's start this off with what's going on with Twitter. Elon Musk
Lord.
has been pretty much a one-man circus since he threatened to buy Twitter and then accidentally tripped and bought Twitter because they wouldn't let him back out. I have lovingly called him Twitler.
Mhm.
You're not the only one.
So let's talk about that. I mean, aside from like some of the big stuff that's happened over the last month, 2 months, 3 months, the big thing that came down was the extra charges for API access. And then
Huh.
further restricting users to, I think, what, 6,000 tweets to view a day or something like that?
Oh, that's only for verified people. The freaking unverified were stuck to like 600 or whatever.
How do you expect people to use your stupid platform if you don't like let them use your platform? I mean, it's not the Wall Street Journal where you get on and it's like, for $1 a month, you could
Yeah.
read our garbage that's AI generated. So I have no idea. But
It just seems he can't seem to do anything right.
He never has. And sadly, people equate money with intellect. So, something about the muskrat that I've learned, he's rolled, well, he's starting stats. If you were to put him into a D&D character sheet, his charisma's probably around a 15 or 16. His intelligence is probably around
Negative one.
bonus of about -1, and his wisdom's about a -2, -3. Um, because he wanted to pick a fight in a ring with Mark Zuckerberg, who actually works out. And I mean, the most workout that the muskrat get is what looks like a cheese dog in each hand. And
He's
his
fit.
mommy,
He's into fitness, fitting
Well,
his food in his mouth. I mean, I
exactly.
understand.
And his mommy had to break up the fight and told him he wasn't allowed to because mommy said so.
But hold on one second.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Wait,
whoa!
Nord.
No! You did it last time. It's my time. No, we're not doing this
this is
again.
my time
No,
to
hang on, hang
shine.
Hang on.
Joe.
One moment, madam. Dana White came out and was wearing a T-shirt that said Elon versus Zuckerberg
Yep.
with the official UFC logo on it.
Mhm.
So I don't know if mommy was able to get him out of it officially. He still might have to get in there and go toe to toe with his foe.
Apparently, she has.
Really? She has that
Apparently,
big
mommy
dick?
has. Well, apparently.
Vanna White's over here. I'm like, I'm gonna flip this one over. I'm gonna get
Oh,
my pay
no.
raise.
Mm.
Look what I can do. Flip.
Ooh, woo.
No, but you have to appreciate the genius that is Zuckerberg. Like you have to
He's
appreciate
not
that.
a genius.
No,
He's a
no, no.
creepy guy.
Think about it this
Let
way.
her cook. Let her
Yeah.
cook.
Think about it this way. You're on Facebook, laying low with the family, whatever, just kind of like sipping coffee or whatever you're drinking or whatever, and you're watching everything play out on Twitter. Limiting this, limiting that, blah blah blah. Elon making fun of the users and all this other stuff. And you know, as you're getting limit rated, people are going crazy and they're looking for different platforms. Here comes old Mark, and he's like, here, now introducing threads, so you can actually integrate all your Instagram followers to your thread account and build you up that way, and everybody's flocking over. And then here comes Elon, and he's like, wait, what's happening? That's cheating. Why is it trending on my Twitter? This is cheating. You're stealing my old employees. No.
You fired them all.
Exactly.
And the funny thing is, back in the day, Zuckerberg wanted to buy Twitter, like when he was on the rise, and Twitter was like, "Yeah, no, we don't want your money." So he's been sitting in the wing like a brooding Batman for a long ass time. That's a bad
Here's
example
the
because he's not safe for nothing.
Your
But
Facebooks are not good here.
Here's
no,
what's really funny about threads, though. Nobody read the fucking end user license agreement.
Oh, IME is the king of end user license agreements. Tell me what's
Holy
going
shit. So I didn't read it, or I didn't look at it until I started seeing people complaining about it on Twitter, of all things. But when you go to their FAQs for threads and you look up how to delete your account, you can deactivate your threads account, but the only way to delete it is to delete your Instagram account. On top of that, to make things worse, it doesn't show posts in chronological order. You can't choose to only see stuff from people you follow. You get shown what Mark Zuckerberg thinks you want to see via the algorithm that is probably the backbone of Facebook as well as Instagram. And as we know, that algorithm a few years ago was used in partnership with a small Canadian company by the name of Cambridge Analytica to get a certain talking Cheeto elected by purposefully pushing far right wing lies and bullshit through Facebook to people they thought would react to it. So now you're giving that exact same bullshit power back to Threads. And for what?
Well, I've been in my workflow. I've actually been using it in promoting like the stuff that we're doing to further promote the podcast. And it's surprisingly easy to use, and for as integrated and easy as it was to start a Threads account, because I am part of Instagram and that's part of my workflow when uploading all the shorts. It was nice and easy. Some of the technical background of how this works. It's much like Mastodon, in that it follows the social activity pub APIs. And so that's what makes it compatible with things like cross communicating with Mastodon and other platforms that use the same thing, like WordPress and whatnot. So it's interesting in how that they did it, so that we can integrate it. So for clients such as folks who run a WordPress blog or anything that does any type of client server relationship with um, any sort of outlet that uses the API for ActivityPub, it's easy enough to just add a button, go, I would like to send it here, and it goes, which is nice. But now that Zuckerberg has it, one of the things, like even our own Buzzy Yard was talking about it, saying that what happens is that because Instagram is a major player, and mind you, it's Threads by Instagram, not necessarily Mark Zuckerberg. It's the brainchild of the Instagram CEO, that you could do these type of things. And the big fight right now on Mastodon is if they will allow Threads to be federated with the Mastodon network. And that's mastodon.social, mastodon.art, Mastodon insert whatever it is you need here. And that's how you do it. Like I just joined Mastodon. I'm still trying to learn exactly how it works. Like, for example, our own Dankwart, because I'm luminaryweekly.social or at mastodon.social, and Dankwart is Dankwart at Dankwart at mastodon.art. Federated servers are actually cross-populated and whatnot, and the biggest fear is what's going to happen when Facebook or Meta decides to enforce a change inside of the standard that everybody else has to conform to, because they're the largest player and the largest donor and things like that.
You know what hasn't changed though?
Shit
These
posting.
nuts.
Oh.
Well, I told Amy about it, but another person who seems to be getting a lot of flack on Threads is the person that mistreated her employees.
Ah, yes, Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah,
It's
it
so
was
funny.
funny. I saw that post where it was just like every most horrible person in the last like 4 years was posting on Threads. It was just like,
Like, why are you here?
I
Did
mean,
you
it's
forget that you're canceled?
except for
it's
George
lit.
Takei. George Takei is a treasure.
It's
Yes.
literally what happened with Twitter. Is like the moment that Elon took over, all the right wing nut jobs got their accounts back and all that good stuff. So Zuckerberg is just that version, just on the other side of the fence.
Did you call him Zuckerbird?
Yes,
That is fantastic, sir.
Zuckerberg. It's like off-brand Twitter. That's awesome. Good job.
I'll be here all night.
Fantastic.
All right, my dog is officially on the podcast. He is like up next to the mic.
Squeakers.
Hello, ears. Say hello. Say welcome to the UDP broadcast. Go ahead.
Bork!
No, he just wants switches. Ooh, that needs to be an official sound now. Like,
Oh yeah, I agree. That is canon.
and now John, whatever his
Here
name
we
is.
go.
So so there's this large thing going on between Twitter. Oh, and that's the other part, the thing that happened just most recently before this podcast even aired, is that Elon was like, "Oh, we can't have a cage fight, but check this out. I got lawyers," and sent a cease and desist request to Zuckerberg. to terminate Threads activity immediately because
Yeah,
of
that'll happen.
potentially trade secrets were used to develop all this. And it's interesting because Threads was open about how they did it. They told you the API they used to make it happen. Unless they're talking about the server backend on how it handles all the messages, but even still, they would have to prove that. And that's because Elon decided to say that, hey, you hired a bunch of all of our ex-employees, so yeah, obviously you're using trade secrets. So we
You
would
mean
like you to stop now.
the people that actually built the website for what it is? The people that put their time and effort into it just for you to fire them? Like,
Maybe it was that
Get
guy that got
wrecked.
fired because he told Elon he really wasn't that interesting, and that's why he wasn't trending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well,
was
Hero.
that
He
was
was a hero.
brutal. Oh my
well,
god, that
isn't
sucked.
isn't Twitter also trying to integrate like video calls or whatever? Isn't that like stealing ideas from, let's say Messenger? Or
Buzzard. If you don't know, Buzzard is also working on a theme song for this podcast for us. But he's also a very successful software developer. He's actually really into talking about what's going on that whole front. If you ever joined Dankwater's Paintwater Tea House.
Dankwort,
Oh yeah,
not
Dankwater.
Dankwater.
As mentioned, I was drinking before the show, so all my words are not in order.
Dank Water Tea House.
Yeah,
Dank warranty?
Dank Water.
we're contacting you about your car's dank warranty.
Oh
Uh,
no.
But
Been trying to reach you, that little whisper in the back of the ear.
I mean, in the tea house, Dank Water could actually sell because I would be like, yeah, this stuff will actually screw.
Would that be like bathwater, but
dank
like
bath
Yeah,
water.
dank.
it'd be
dank
like
water.
used cat bathwater. It'd be like used cat bathwater.
You know,
Gamer
I'm gonna be
cat
sick
bath
now.
water.
as a heads up, Dankwart actually listens to our podcast. He'll probably hear this and be like, "What the fuck?"
Dankwort.
I mean, to be fair, for him, it's probably just a big old bottle of pilk. So,
Or cheese.
Oh.
or
Yeah.
cheese, yes.
Hey, this is just for you, Dankwart. Meow 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 meow
This
meow.
cheese
Nyan,
water
nyan,
smells
nyan,
like-
nyan, nyan.
Nyan cat. We love you.
But
Like,
Yay.
no pilk. Pilk is banned.
But
Actually,
Tomorrow I'm
I'm
gonna see
gonna.
on Twitter just him ragging on me for saying pilk is banned.
but
It wasn't that bad. It tasted like a
wasn't bad.
milkshake.
It was like a root beer float, but with Pepsi.
But what Buzzard was talking about is that it would be really hard for Elon to prove that kind of thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if Elon looked at that notice was just like, well, just send it to the law room. I mean, we're not going to stop because obviously he's full of shit, so fuck that guy. And if that were the case, Threads would still not be up right now. So, but yeah, it's an interesting thing. There's been a lot of interesting trends, especially with Twitter, like charging for their API and losing a lot of their big players that makes their platform viable, like TweetDeck. Or there was a report inside of, if you're part of our Discord server in the Backstage Pass, there is a link to a thread where, oh, where was I going with this? There was a, no. Oh gosh, hold on. I need to retrack. Quick, somebody cover for me.
How about them local sports team?
Oh, spurts. Let me tell you about them spurts. Them sports are so much fun down here in the dirty south. Let me tell you what.
Oh
I
Damn,
com-
I just
no.
lost IQ listening to that.
I literally lost my place.
I can't do much more, Lumi. Come on now.
I
Hey,
know
it's
you
okay.
can't-
I know where my bottle of wine is, right in front of me, along with my half bottle.
That's
Other
just me
glass.
sober. I'm just saying.
That's actually terrifying, sir.
Oh, that's what I was getting at. Tweets aren't showing up in Google because of the rate limits. That's where I was going with this.
Oh, so I've been following that kind of on Twitter. And one thing I've seen, a little bit of arguing back and forth, but a lot of people who are data engineers, and I am not one, and these people, you can look in their profile, you can see where they work, most of them. They know more about this shit than me, especially when their entire Twitter profile is filled with topics on data warehousing and management and costing. The claim is that the rate limits were put on Twitter as a means of generating money. People who deal with data warehousing are saying the rate limits were put in place because someone didn't pay the bill. Now, if you remember, one of the very first things that Elon Musk, or
Yeah, you're no,
No,
no.
you're right. Correct. Accurate.
Yeah, Elon Musk,
just Twitler. Just
Elon Musk first said is that he was going to stop paying Google for their hosting in the hopes of renegotiating their deal or reneging on their deal. It was one of those two words, I don't remember. And from the looks of things, he was able to accomplish just that. Not pay the bill and then fuck people over. Now, the biggest complaint I've seen, and it's a legitimate complaint, is a lot of countries and a lot of places use Twitter as a means of disseminating emergency information, whether that's flooding alerts, tornado or hurricane watches. People use Twitter as a means of receiving information from their governments, aid agencies, and shit like that. So by putting in these rate limits, it actually fucked people up. And web designers actually went into the developer tools of most browsers. You can sit there and watch a website and see what it does on your browser end and what it's doing. And one of the key things that they saw was that idling on the Twitter home screen, it was making 10 calls to twitter.com per second or per minute. And basically, if you only have, it was per second, because if you only have 6,000 impressions or tweet views a day, at 10 a second, that burns through really quick. Just idling on the home screen, doing nothing.
wow.
So it's remarkable how bad this ended up, in that people lost access to important information in timely fashions. It looks from all looks, it seems that the bills just weren't paid, and providers were like, "Well, I'm tired of this bullshit." And Amazon was hosting their stuff. Google was hosting their stuff. Google was informed that they weren't going to be used anymore, so they were scrambling, apparently, to get rid of Twitter services by the July 1st deadline, which coincidentally is when the rate limiting happened.
So he
So,
couldn't afford his electricity bill.
yeah. And if you're a, Battletech fan, he didn't pay fucking Comstar. Pay your goddamn phone bill, fucko.
Yeah, with
Anyways.
all the money he can get from Starlink, I'm pretty sure he could have afforded a,
Yeah, and his big thing is he's like, "Oh, I'm going to save costs by laying off half our staff or 80% of the staff." It's like, no, you've actually costed yourself money. And to make matters worse, the people that have been laid off haven't been paid what they're owed, so now they're suing him to get what they're owed. So his big thing of, "I'm going to save money," is actually costing more money instead of just paying the people in the first place.
Oh, this
and
is
and Jack's
This
in
is
the
why I
back,
say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Jack's in the background, like, yeah, it's so funny, rate limited stuff. I'm like, dude, you're part of the problem. You're the sellout.
Well, one of the biggest things is the whole thing of like, "I'm going to save money by laying people off," or not even that, just people thinking that if you're rich, that intrinsically means you're smart. No, he's fucking dumb.
The
Like,
difference,
he is dumb as
between
bricks.
the difference between book smart and being just having some common sense, but he's lacking both.
yeah. I have to go look into this, but why he isn't part of PayPal anymore? Because he was on the launch team for that. He was like one of the co-creators or something like
I'm pretty sure they said you need to leave.
that. You're kind of garbage. Can you leave?
Yeah, can
making us
you
look
just
bad.
fuck off?
I mean, look what happened. You should have saw this coming when he tanked Dogecoin.
It's
Yeah,
interesting. He played on that, and he did a lot of that. I was noticing that where he would say something to increase stock price on something,
yep.
and then he would. I bet you if you were to go through, and this would actually fall under like United States FTC bad trade practices or insider trading or something like that. That's purposefully inflating a price to intentionally sell off and then tank it. And mind
Oh,
you,
you mean like all of our congressmen?
yeah, but it was Bitcoin,
Oh.
so So Bitcoin, there's no governance over Bitcoin and how that works. You can literally do what you want. Just look at all the NFT rug pulls.
Yeah,
Gross.
like the Monkey Boys that
Oh
Justin
God.
Bieber, what is it, bought like one for like 1.4 million. Now it's only 55,000. Like, can you imagine?
Oh yeah,
That's how can you be that incompetent to buy such a thing?
because hype men sell products, and
Oh my
Bitcoin
god.
and NFTs are a product. And where there's product to be had and money to be made, there will be hype men to push it. Which is like, I don't know if you keep up with folks like CoffeeZilla. Do you know who CoffeeZilla is?
Why does
No.
that sound familiar?
CoffeeZilla is one of the foremost YouTube celebrities that goes through and investigates all of these rug pulls and scams and Ponzi's and things like that. His last one, he actually went dark for months, mostly because he was scared for his life, but he uncovers a lot of that stuff. But anyway, um, back to Twitter. Reddit's actually been doing some interesting stuff with what they're doing with their IPO, and I see a lot of that going on with kind of mirroring Twitter in kind of way, but for different reasons. Any of you used Reddit?
Yes.
Here
Not
and there.
lately because all my subreddits have gone dark because Reddit is trying to be the new Twitter
Oh
and
yeah,
fucking charge obscene amounts of money for API access. If you don't know, API stands for Application Programming Interface. It allows, software developers access to more of the technical back end of a overall program architecture or software architecture or websites or whatever without giving direct access to source code. It gives them like entry points to get in and do what they're trying to do.
pretty
It's
much.
the very, very short Cole's Notes version that I'm sure I got something wrong. I do apologize, Loomies. You're probably rolling in your chair going, oh my god, you're dumb.
No, you got it. I mean, like it's all REST API. It's where you can actually request, regardless of what platform you're on, you can just about guarantee the information that you're going to get back is something that's parsable, and that's the idea of giving back universal output from whatever it is that you're asking for. And most of the time, it's pretty standard across all the businesses, which is why it's a big deal with Twitter and Reddit and things like that.
So, anyways, we were going there with something, and I just wanted to jump on that so people weren't confused in
Well,
case they were.
anyway, so Reddit's now charging for their API access as well. This came on the heels
Yes.
of Elon announcing for his API access costs. I remember when he restricted it, and then it's just like, nah, dog, check this out, give me the bucks. And I think there was even an article somewhere in the news forum where it was talking about like this guy was like, Elon wants millions of dollars from me because that's just how often his product is used. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. Fuck that. I'm out, bro. I'm out, dog.
A
Yeah.
lot of the bot accounts that run like, foxes every hour or gators every hour, those kinds of accounts have all been basically saying, hey, this is the end of the line for us. Sorry.
Like
Mhm.
Possum Daily or
Yeah,
hourly.
that was the one I was trying to think of. But yeah, they're definitely affected by this. It really sucks because those are really fun and really wholesome. And the muskrat just is being a petulant man child, like I keep calling him, because he's a fucking loser. In
You know,
before every fanboy of Elon Husk comes after me. You know what? I'm a goddamn barcode. I can say what I want.
you know what they really need to do? Him and Zuckerberg need to come together, and they need to start a submarine company. And
Ocean Gate 2.0, and they can just do it in like a very thin-walled oil drum.
We see how SpaceX is going.
You know,
How many
it's really
rockets
funny you
exploded?
rip into them like that because their Starliner or Starship hasn't had a successful launch or very much success since they fired their lead engineer for telling Elon he was dumb. Kind of like what happens at Twitter when you tell Elon he's dumb, he fires you. Weird how that
Or
works.
kind of what happened at, what is it, Ocean Gate, when the safety dude was like, hey, this isn't safe, you shouldn't do this, and
Yeah. Safety just gets in the way. I'm sorry.
We need fresh
you-
minds on this. Yeah.
You mean, in other words, you want people who are inexperienced and too afraid to say no to your own stupidity.
hey Lumi, guess what?
Gotcha.
What?
If you go to the Ocean Gate website and you go to the Our Teams thing, it's literally a 404 page and it has like ocean swell in the middle of the page. I'm like, oof, I have this stinking feeling this isn't going to age well.
Oh, I drank all my beer already. Damn it.
And to make it even better, if you go to their like just any part of their page, it actually says they've suspended all operations, commercial and scientific.
Well, yeah, probably because they're going to be under the pressure of a lot of litigation.
Well, the families are going to sue.
Yeah, that's like the big fight with them right now too, isn't it? It's
Under
like if they
pressure.
can sue, even though they signed a death waiver and everything else, because hey, you could potentially die down there. They're
So
going
what
to get
I've
to.
learned
Oh, go ahead.
over many, many years is that waivers actually don't really mean a whole lot because at the end of the day, you, the company, doing whatever it is you're doing that you're saying someone might get hurt and die, you're ultimately responsible to have a safe environment. And, you know, even if you're doing like even bungee jumping companies, they can be liable for someone dying because was the equipment maintained? Was the cord maintained? You know, were there proper safety checks? Were there proper safety procedures? All of that stuff. Yeah, someone might lose their life and you may not be liable for them ultimately splattering into the pavement, but everything up to that point where the sudden stop kills them, because it's not the fall, it's always a sudden stop.
The fall's the
You
fun
know,
part.
you're liable for all of that portion. So I wouldn't be surprised if that whole like death waiver doesn't hold up. Plus, they're in international waters, and a lot of uh, terrestrial laws don't apply. So a waiver likely does not apply in international waters.
Well, especially when he's on record with saying, "Hey, it's okay to cut some corners and when it comes to safety."
Exactly.
Like,
And I
really?
think that's going to come back to haunt the company.
Especially when everybody has receipts that
Oh, fuck yeah.
they have
It,
receipts of the receipts.
And video proof of
absolutely.
it too. Oh yeah.
There's so much stuff
I,
has come out on that whole Ocean Gate thing. As far as like I've been monitoring TikTok, and there's been like stuff that was recovered as far as like communications is concerned, and previous divers and what they've experienced. It's been all over the place. It's
Yeah.
insanity.
And now they have presumed human remains are looking at. The big problem.
Human remains should be used loosely because they were turned into pretty much slurry.
They were turned into physics. Their bodies went from
physics.
So that's a stolen line. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I think it's Mark something or other. He does a lot of. He's got a degree in not astrology, astronomy and physics. He's got PhDs in them. He does a lot of KSP videos, and I watched a 2-hour live stream where he ripped into the whole thing, and also started talking about KSP stuff. But the one thing he kept coming back to was the fact that at some point in an event like that, your body stops being an object and becomes physics.
Yeah, like if they weren't underwater, they would have become the equivalent of either a pink mist or a Grimace milkshake from McDonald's.
Well, think
green
about it
Yes.
like this:
potatoes.
with as fast as it was crushed, you could probably think of it about like speed using toothpaste.
Or the graphics on Candy Crush.
Or
What?
Or like what I just saw with one of my cannons shooting a liver out of someone's chest cavity.
Or that,
Huh.
or that big old meme on TikTok for a while where you put baking soda in the ketchup bottle and shake it out and then pop the
Mm.
top. Pretty much same situation.
Nice,
But faster.
Or like me
but
eating
faster.
Crunchwogger.
The only thing that would have been good is how fast it would have imploded. Would have been faster than the signal from their eyes to their brain would travel, because that's about 13 milliseconds. And it would have happened in less time than that. And then on top of that, it takes your brain anywhere from 25 to 500 milliseconds to process and react to what it's just seen. So you're looking at almost, 3/4 of a second for some people to see, interpret and understand and realize what they've looked at. And they would have been just Thanos snapped out of existence.
audibly in your head thinking, "What the fuck was that?" And that's exactly
You probably wouldn't even be able to react to that because
Nope.
I don't know what the reaction time is between hearing a noise and responding to it. And plus, you got to think the speed of sound is slower than the speed of light.
It's probably worse if you're actually high.
Huh.
Fair.
Maybe depends on the person, I guess. If you, if time slows, like your perception time slows down, maybe.
Speaking of
Yeah.
slowing time and potentially going back, apparently the French president was like, "Yo, video games and
Talk
TikTok."
about douchebag.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
It's an age-old conversation that everything
fucking
is bad.
lawyer in
Heck,
your country?
on Mastodon before we even started this, there was somebody pointing out that Threads is like the most elusive, like Devil 666. Everybody's got a conspiracy theory for everything, but for politicians to say it is the fault of TikTok and video games that children live out their fantasies without regard to reality and cause problems and
Jack
criminal problems.
Thompson.
Listen, TikTok wasn't around when I got pregnant, okay?
But video games were. It was video games' fault, Grit. You were
I'm
playing
sure
too much
they-
Mario RPG.
I'm sure the powers that be blame Shakespeare for his meddling with all of his literature as well
Damn
back
you,
in the day.
Neopets! Damn you with the eggs
Damn
and
you,
the
Pong!
I know, right? That's why they're rioting in Paris right now. Neopets eggs.
That's right.
So, Malcolm is acting like Jack Thompson. That's who he reminds me of. If you're not familiar with who Jack Thompson is, you can go find him on Wikipedia. But he's basically a lawyer based out of the U.S. who anything and everything he could blame on video games, he tried and failed numerous times. He went after Rockstar Games and their Grand Theft Auto series of games
Oh, that was
back
a big
in the
debacle.
day,
That
and
asshole.
he is a piece of work. He hates rap music, hates video games. He actually thinks video games will cause children to develop violent tendencies. That is categorically false.
If it was not for video games growing up, I would have been put in jail.
Listen, I used to play Twisted Metal. That doesn't make me a bad driver.
You don't see me
mean,
putting
I never
on
got a
clown
chance to play
makeup and
Carmageddon.
using rocket launchers. Damn it! What the hell?
Yeah.
That's
I wanted to play Carmageddon, but I couldn't get it to run on my computer.
I could get it to run in my Volvo.
It's just them. It's like anything. It's just they're trying to find a way to divert the fact that they're doing a terrible job as leadership, especially with everything that's been going down in France.
Yeah.
He's running out of options. He really is. And the most recent riots he tried to keep under the carpet with the whole TikTok ban. He's trying to ban TikTok, of course. And then, of course, you see that's where everybody's getting their news about France is on TikTok. You don't see it anywhere else in the mainstream.
Probably just
Anywhere.
mad that like one of the only successful like Dexter's Laboratory or memorable ones is the omelette du fromage one. So it's like I always say omelette du. It's like, do you know any French? Yeah. Oui, oui, omelette du fromage. Now with more passion, omelette du fromage.
God damn it.
What?
Stupid Americans.
As a French speaker myself, god damn it.
What did you say to me before? What did you say to me?
Carlist. Tabernac. Now the French viewers that are listening to this will be like, holy shit, he fucking swore.
That's
I
okay.
live around people who speak Cajun French, so my French is even worse off than that. So
Carist Tabernac.
laissez-les bon temps
Clarice.
rouler.
On. What are you, Paris about France?
Did you
all of a
just say
sudden?
You said han, and I
Yeah,
immediately thought of c'est des croissants. So
No,
What?
it's
Sacre
knock
bleu.
at France Ball from the Poland Ball series. Because France Ball, all it says is Han. I don't make Poland Ball comics. I don't understand. I just love them. Because Poland can't into space. Although it has. It has into space.
You say hon, I say oh.
I also say scones are sandwiches. Scones are cakes.
Oh my
Let's say
God.
if the emperor had a text-to-speech device reference for those of you who don't know, but scones. Oh, that
Oh,
peaked. I'm sorry.
Oh, my
Yeah, the,
earballs.
Scones.
that's
the,
fine. The viewers will enjoy the peak themselves because I do not audio
Force
edit anymore.
commander. Scones.
Speaking
I'm
of,
moving away from my mic.
especially speaking of editing, do any of you know who Peter Molyneux is?
I've heard the name. I
How about
can't
Peter
remember.
Molyneaux?
Ugh. So
Peter
Peter,
Molyneux?
so Lionhead Studios. Are you familiar with that name?
I've
Yes.
heard of them.
Yes.
So Peter Molyneux was once the head of Lionhead Studios. They produced such hits such as Black and White and Fable.
I have that game
Yes.
somewhere.
Oh, I've got that game too.
I
Black and
was
White too.
playing
Yeah.
Fable.
Fable is freaking dope. I'm not gonna
love
lie.
Fable.
Like it's nothing like what Peter Molyneux pitched, but it's dope. I love Fable so much. But check this out, right? Apparently, he's been in the news. I didn't look at the article, but I just saw his name flop up again, saying that he's not here to hype a game, won't hype into the game, but hey, there's going to be another game. And the thing about Peter Molyneux is that he overpromises and underdelivers, which is like the exact opposite of what you want.
So he's EA?
So let me give you an example. Right? Fable.
Ew.
Fable. We're all familiar with Fable in this room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, Fable, you were supposed to start off as a child, and each of your choices would make or break you as a character and decide how you were going to be as an adult. And you would get to grow up and experience and things like that all the way into adulthood and have this grand adventure. And to everybody in this room, we know that's not what happened.
Listen, you don't start off as a child. You start off as a chicken chaser. Chicken chaser? Oh, look, it's the chicken chaser.
But
I'm like,
he was the one that spun the yarn of how great this was going to be. Like to some degree, Black and White was kind of the same way. One of our earlier podcasts, I mentioned a game that he was spearheading called Curiosity: What's in the Box.
What's in the box?
He
okay,
ran
7.
he ran this grand um, contest to get to the center of this gigantic cube that was multi-layered and segregated out into sides, and you would have to tap on it like it was a mobile game, and like the entire world got to play the game at once. For one brief moment, people who had access to this game could all tap together in unison and find out what's in the box, and the person that does the last tap gets the grand prize, right? And it was up to the person who got the grand prize to decide if he was going to disclose what his grand prize was. And the guy was like, sure, tell everyone, go for it. The grand prize was that he would get a percentage of royalty for the game that they were currently developing called Godus. And if anybody remembers that game or understands what that game is, it was another god-type civilization game in the vein of Black and White, but it was scaled down more mobily, if I could like find a better word for it.
It sounds like a D's nuts joke.
Yeah, it really is, and that's what it was. The guy was like, "Oh, cool! I'll get revenue share on this." The project never took off. It didn't make any money. He didn't see shit, and he was also supposed to like make decisions as like the lead god for however long before the next cycle. It never panned out. So that's just an example of the level of disappointment that Peter Molyneux hypes to get the most interest as possible and to underdeliver to the point where the thing that you're actually seeing is not exactly what was promised. I wouldn't trust that guy with any pitch whatsoever if it wasn't for the fact he's so charismatic and he goes great in the news. If you go on Twitter and if you have like the limit to do so, look up Peter Molyneux, and he does nothing but pitch games like, what about a game where you're a mail slot and your goal is to ingest mail and spit out junk mail?
I heard mail. I heard mail sled, and it still made the whole sentence sound the same day.
So
Sorry.
so we talk about integrity in game news. This is integrity in game development. So do you have anything to say on who or what Peter Molyneux is or does?
Do you want to know what's exciting about like Fable 3 of what I've heard?
What's that? Wait,
174 hours of cutscene.
Fable
And
3, as in like the one that was just released or the one that they're currently working on without Peter Molyneux's head?
I maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. The one that I just heard Fable has 174 hours of cutscene, which is vastly far longer than any Lord of the Ring movie. Ugh.
Yes.
So considering they're
no
catering,
longer interested.
they're catering to an audience that like wants to watch videos 60 seconds or less, it's going to be a hard sell.
And have been openly adamant about long cutscenes in video games to begin with.
Listen, the only cutscenes that I like are from World of Warcraft, and that's because they've been improving on them greatly.
You know, they actually have an engine to do all that. Didn't they release that publicly, or is that still internal as far as like keeping the? Because it's almost like Blizzard's Source Engine is what they're using, but it's
I don't
their
know.
own engine. I don't know either. I was hoping maybe you knew because I stopped caring a long time ago.
I just see Alex Straza, and I'm like, ooh.
I mean, did you read into this Rainbow Six story?
No.
Okay, well then we'll move on to uh, we'll move on to the Player Unknown's
Wait, did I?
Battlegrounds love story. Cajun got a chance to read it. I know I
Dude,
did.
that's a messed up situation.
It is so bad. So a Hindu man decided met a Muslim woman over Player Unknown Battlegrounds. Like we have the kind of a similar love story just sitting in this podcast right now between Crit and Imi with the whole wow bit, right? I think that's how you guys met.
Yay.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So it's like video games has a potential to unite folks, and in this particular case, over years, we like it's just what happens. So these two decided to meet and do things and get together. And the thing about it is that the Hindu man, of course, from I believe what was he, India, and the Muslim woman was from Pakistan. And they decided to get together, and she was like, she brought her for 3 kids, 4 kids, something like
I think
that.
it was 3, yeah.
Yeah, and they were kind of squatting inside of India because India is much freer with their marriage laws and whatnot. They decided to go legit, and they found a lawyer. It's like, hey, we need to make this legit. Let's let's see how we can make her a natural citizen so I can marry this woman. The lawyer found out that she was Pakistani. Her children had Pakistani passports, and was like, "Yeah, no, I got you, homie." And when they left to go home, he had them followed. And once they arrived at their destination, the person following him called up the lawyer, told him where they were. The lawyer called the cops and had them turned in. The story went on to say stuff like there was no ill intent. She was trying to escape an abusive husband from Pakistan. But because the tensions are so high between Pakistan and India, that everybody's compelled to turn folks like that in as, like, for example, if
That
Crit
is
were to
fucking
claim
rude.
it is rude. Like if Crit was like, I need asylum from the United States and Canada, Canada would be like, I got you, homie. England would do the same thing. I mean, it's all asylum rules, and the Mexicans that come to the United States have to go through the same thing for asylum, assuming who's in power. But yeah, that's a whole different
We don't do
conversation.
political commentary.
Not
here,
for
honest.
not for this podcast anyway.
It's just a
It's
whole
never been
different
political.
it's a whole different world over there just because of the constant state of turmoil between all of these different countries in the Middle East.
Well, India and Pakistan, it's not so much the Middle East with them because that's further southwest. India and Pakistan have been long rivals since the Brits ruled them both. Because you got to remember, they're both former British colonies. And when this is a very short Cole's Notes version, I'm sure I'm missing some details. But when the Brits left and
Hold
granted
on.
them
Did you say
independence,
Cole's notes?
Cole's Notes,
Cole's notes.
the Cole's Notes version, the shortened version.
Okay, so
We
not
call them
Cliff.
clip notes here.
So not Cliff
Yeah,
Notes.
same thing.
Coles
Cliff Notes, Coles Notes, same
Okay.
things.
All right, I just want to make sure I knew what I was getting myself into.
Canadianism. So the short version, the TLDR, is that when the Brits left, they basically said, "Here's your two countries. See you later." And both countries are like, "Okay, that's not cool, bro. But what about this mountainous region that I call Kashmir?" And that's what the Pakistanis said, and the Indians were like, "Hey, that's our Kashmir." So you have this tiny little territory between India and Pakistan, where both the Indians and the Pakistanis both claim ownership of. They have almost gone to nuclear war on at least 3 occasions, probably 4 or more that I can think of. So there's a lot of tension between these two countries. On top of that, India for the longest time was trying to be more openly friendly to Western countries, trying to get inroads for, just economic reasons to get inroads with, Western countries. But Western countries saddled up with the Pakistanis, which kind of was a bit of a slight. Probably we'll know probably in about 100 years if that was a good idea, because remember, what was it? About a kilometer or two down the road from a Pakistani army base was where Osama bin Laden had been hiding in plain sight for a few years. And it wasn't until the US sent in a special operations force to go kill him that it was revealed that, yeah, he was like down the road from a Pakistani army base. Like, that's either really incompetent intelligence or somebody was keeping quiet. So there's a lot of history between the two countries. They do not get along. So for one person to call it in and throw somebody under the bus, I hate to say it, I'm not surprised. Because there's, like I said, they've almost gone to nuclear war several times over their mutual desire to possess and control Kashmir, and their general dislike of each other, which really sucks because a lot of people get stuck in the middle of all that. In this case, that couple.
Like our modern day Romeo and Juliet here.
Yeah, essentially, you've got two warring factions, or almost warring factions, who've damn near caused nuclear disaster, and it pretty much causes people to sit there and be like, I don't like this person. I'm going to throw them under the bus. Damned be the consequences. And unfortunately for this woman, getting arrested and deported is what ends up happening.
Oh yeah, no, her husband wanted her back in time for dinner. It's pretty bad.
Yep. No, it's really unfortunate because they have two very rich, beautiful histories between the two countries, and the Brits fucked it up.
As they do. As we
yes.
do. That's just
I
par for the course.
say.
So the Brits fucked you guys up. The Brits fucked us up. The Brits fucked up every one of their colonies. Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You're not true British, so we don't really care.
You guys wasted a lot of good tea.
Well, we didn't want the tax. Fuck that. They're like, we want extra money. We're like, fuck your tea. Here, the fish can have
We're
it.
gonna have a tea party.
But you wasted the tea. You wasted the scones.
Wasted the
Scones.
cake.
Or sandwiches. I will have to link that for chat. Because that is a really fucking great.
Well, our resident medical professional here has got to go to work tomorrow, so here's what we're going to go ahead and push this out. Cajun, what you got planned for the coming week?
Oh, that's a very good question. I know you and I are still trugging along, and
oh yeah, we have
Core
the
Keeper on
brood mother
Wednesday
to go smack.
Oh yeah, we're gonna smack that B up. As for the other 2 nights, I'm sure it's gonna be more shiny hunting. I do want to diversify it a little bit so I don't burn myself out on it. So I'm looking into other things that I could. Hello?
No, it's just me. Don't worry.
The ADD kicked in. Sorry, I was waiting for the door knock. But yeah, definitely Tuesday will be probably just normal shiny hunting, and if I come up with something for Thursday,
Emotional damage.
That's not me.
Let me
I deny responsibility for that one.
So yeah, I have a couple days off this week, so I'm gonna be working on some other stuff offline to hopefully get ready for new stuff in the future. Both with hopefully current crew involved. I know you and Amy talked about Dafu a little bit not too long ago. So hello, come in.
You were waiting for
I
it.
was
You're,
waiting for
you're
that.
gonna get me killed. I'm desensitized to that. I don't twitch anymore.
I don't even pay attention to it because none of my doors sound like that.
Yeah, that's what's going on in Cajun country this week.
Awesome. So, Crit Code, tell us about your adventures in the land of hot and cold running maple syrup.
Tree
Uh,
blood.
Oh my.
well, you
My
already know
sweet
about
summer child.
how drunk I get, so that's good. With me teasing it. But
That part was fun, but you learned pretty quickly that Canada has really hot temperatures.
yeah, I probably flew
And no
probably
central air.
Oh
10,
no, we do. Absolutely, we do. We
10
have
hours
basements
of
too.
flying, or 10 hours in general, and flying, and another 10 hours of airports and eh.
Yeah, our
Eh.
third day here, we went to a botanical garden that has a couple different areas, and one of the areas was kind of like a tropical area. So, her being from Florida, hearing all the tropes about Canada being this frozen ice wasteland and everything, she wears layers because you got to bundle up when you're in Canada. And then it was like damn near high 30s, almost 40 degrees Celsius. That's like almost 100 Fahrenheit.
That's almost Texas weather.
Yeah, almost Texas weather in this botanical garden. And she was in layers and she regretted life.
I was kind of
Um,
like, okay, you know that episode of SpongeBob where Patrick and SpongeBob are in Sandy's dome, and they're like, I'm good without water. I'm good without water. That was me though, but with like layers. I was like, this is no, that's just like being back home, haha. I'm like, I'm burning up. I'm burning up.
yeah, and I was just in like t-shirt and shorts and sandals, and she's all in layers. And then I was just like, oh God, you sweet summer child.
It's like,
It
are
was a
you
good time.
one
We
and sun?
went to a zoo, and
Boy,
we took about just shy of 1,000 photos. Went for horseback riding. She got introduced to tree blood.
I got to speak a little Greek.
Yep. Yep. There's a very small Greek restaurant that we absolutely love, and the owner absolutely loves her.
Did you
They,
order the malacca?
No, but I also didn't order any pisoli. Pisoli's dick. Pisomi's bread.
I remember that. I remember that from last time you said it. Yes. I
Yeah.
didn't hit it first. Oh wait, she's doing the thing.
Rip.
Throwback to a previous episode where you learn a little Greek. You don't say you don't say pisoli, you say pisomi. Pisomi is bread, pisoli is dick. Do not say pisoli in the middle of the restaurant because you're probably
I
going to
would
get
like
dick.
pisoli. No, you want pisomi. No, I want pisoli. Oh my.
That's 2 blocks down. Here we said sorry.
Greek lessons with crit chicken.
Shut up. Bum.
That was good times. I really enjoyed having her here, and I can't wait for her to come back.
Oh. Also, big news. We
Yes.
are engaged.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
All right, high
Fucking
porns.
awesome.
I was looking for one. I forgot where I
I
put
don't
it.
think we have one.
I
We are
had one.
horribly unprepared. Let's see.
know I
I
had
have
one.
Mission accomplished.
There we go. I have a mission accomplished for us.
We don't make
Nice.
mistakes. We have happy accidents.
But they are engaged. And they will
There it
have,
is.
and they will have crit code adventures, which I'm sure they'll be posted everywhere. And Imee even acquired at his own human hand for the occasion for the post on
Found it.
Twitter.
Yes, that hand, just as a legal disclaimer, was acquired fair and square through a legally binding contract. The owner of the hand did not refuse. I mean, they absolutely consent. Yes, they consented. They did sign the release, and they will be provided with that hand at a later time. I can't guarantee it will be chewed by a doggo as a chew toy, But as a reminder, it was acquired fair and square and in a legally binding manner.
There we go.
Also, I did not pluck the feathers off my hand.
Yeah, after the podcast, we got to find out when you're actually going to throw that shindig, so that way Cajun and I can because I will swing by Louisiana and be like, "Hop in, homie, we going Canada."
See us like Night at the Roxbury.
Dude,
Dun,
you're
dun,
gonna
dun,
be
dun,
dead
dun.
ass asleep. You're gonna hear outside your house, "Beep, beep, beep, beep." Like, what the fuck is that? And I'm gonna hang my
You're gonna
head
have
out
the
the window
Dukes
and
of
be like,
Hazzard
"Get in,
horn, aren't
loser.
you?
We're getting maple syrup," and that's gonna be it.
There's
She
probably,
had maple
we
syrup for
go.
the first time and she liked it, and it was good. I
there's
enjoyed
probably gonna be a lot of dish
I
breaking.
had the syrup and liked it.
that. Yeah, well, maple syrup, unless you get real maple syrup, most people are like, what is this? And her son got introduced to maple syrup, and his response was, "It's not as thick as regular syrup."
Oh yeah, no,
Son,
it's great.
that's because this is tree blood, not congealed mass of pure sugar.
Well,
I mean, it is pure sugar, just better sugar.
It is definitely thicker than monk fruit syrup, which I do use on my pancakes because beat us. But
Diabetes.
but the maple syrup is actually it's runnier than your corn syrup maca.
Congealed mass. Oh, that was the other thing. She got introduced to real Coca-Cola with real sugar.
Well, not
So if you look on the
Wait, hold on,
ingredient,
hold on. Craig, you can't tell me you hadn't had a glass bottle of Mexican Coke.
I know.
that's cane sugar, though. That's also different sugar.
Oh,
So Americans use corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup in your soft drinks. Here in Canada, we use real sugar and lots of it.
Yeah.
Also in Mexico, they use cane sugar for theirs. That's why it tastes different.
Mhm. Oh yeah, no, I can't wait to go to Canada. So ever since Lay's introduced the all dressed chips, not Lay's, Ruffles, I can't wait to go to Canada because all dressed is
Wait.
like my jam.
Did you guys never have all dressed before?
Nope.
What is that?
Oh
It is
my God,
delicious.
you
It
sweet
is
poor
heaven.
bastards.
Imagine it's sweet, tangy, and savory all at the same time on a Ruffles chip. It
You know
is
what's funny?
delicious.
We went to this one place and I was like, oh, I'm really craving like a chili dog. And they're like, do you want anything else in your chili dog? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just chili and cheese. I'm like, why would I put relish on a chili
Wait,
dog?
hold on. Where are you in Florida where you don't put relish on a chili dog?
I'm traditional. I like my just chili and cheese.
I would
I
like
like-
my
I like-
chili dog with the main ingredients listed in the name, please.
Hey,
I like onions on mine personally. I'm
so
not-
all dressed is ketchup, barbecue, sour cream, and onion all mixed together with a bit of salt and vinegar.
It sounds gross in words, but it tastes so much better. It's like split pea soup.
Just give me ketchup chips all day long, and I'm good.
Yeah. Well, whatever the
You,
case.
you guys don't know what those are, so don't worry, you're fine.
No.
But
They
she had real poutine.
poutine. That's
that is one thing that
Poutine.
I have to try when I get to Canada. 'Cause I've never had it before, and I
Okay.
want it from the motherland before I try
If-
anywhere else.
So if you're gonna make it yourself, you need a couple things. Decent French fries, although they're just a side thing to get the gravy and the cheese curds in you. You need cheese curds, but they can't be any old cheese curds. They have to either be directly from Quebec, which will be real expensive in the US, or they have to be of the squeaky variety.
Oh, you get that at
you'll
Tillamook.
Squeaky.
Yeah. So basically, if you chew them, they kind of get like a squeaky kind of texture. You know when you rub like styrofoam together, that not the
Mhm.
sound, but that texture of
Yeah.
the way it feels when you're. That's kind of what it feels like when you're chewing these cheese curds. And you
wonder-
need a nice thick gravy.
I wonder if I can get I can make a Greek-styled poutine down pat.
You know what? You could do whatever
Probably,
you
I
want
mean,
as
I
long
get-
as you put your mind to it.
I get
That's
pulled
right.
pork poutine. I get
Pulled pork. poutine.
Philadelphia cheesesteak or
But-
Philly cheesesteak.
I mean, I won't be
poutine.
returning back to the U.S. if you keep talking like this. I
I'm
love
saying.
food. Like Panda's
Um,
going to be like a single mother if you're not careful.
I'm
Oh,
dude.
what else?
Could you
There's
imagine if I like the lemon fries with the curds and the
Lemon
gravy or whatever?
fries. Oh my. Okay, we need to stop. Anyway,
Okay.
Crit and
Yes.
Barcode had a great time and mentioned a
Yes,
lot of
they
great
did.
food that made my fat hard.
Well, what about chicken bacon ranch, butter chicken, chicken inferno, buffalo grilled chicken, poutine, popcorn chicken poutine, boneless buffalo wing poutine. That's just for chicken. The pork, you got pulled pork, bacon, double pork, pierogi,
Swedish
pork.
meatballs.
You
Avalanche,
have to
yes,
go to
Swedish
IKEA for
meatballs. If
that.
you go to IKEA, absolutely. We went there actually.
That's my first.
Avalanche puts in for the beef. You got Philly cheesesteak, Korean, which is really fucking spicy.
I mean, you realize that wasn't a challenge, right?
Well, you're gonna need to because we're all going to Quebec because this is a company based out of Quebec. They have locations across Canada called Smokes Poutinerie. They got amazing fucking poutine, bacon
alright.
Bet your ass
cheeseburgers,
on that
prime
one.
rib deluxe, barbecue steak deluxe.
Here's the key to that. You need to communicate with me and Cajun when we need to like haul ass up there, and
We will show that we will show up.
Okay,
I like it. Just,
copy. Where is chat? Hey, chat.
Just-
There you can go to rule.
Just prepared to
paste.
break a lot of dishes.
oh, I don't
We'll
care.
do.
No,
That's a great tradition,
I'll
isn't
break
it?
whatever you want. Well,
Smokespoutinerie.com.
my concern is when to start the mead because if I'm going up there, we're
Yes.
gonna have Lumi mead, and I need to go like research duty free, which requires another like different conversation with Amy to figure out where the fuck it is I'm going to go. So
Okay, so importing of alcohol, there are limits. You can only, for your personal limit without actually having to pay any duties and taxes, you're allotted, I think it's 1 liter roughly. So that's like, I have no idea how many fucking ounces because I
Per-
use real numbers
so is that per person?
Person or per car?
per person.
Oh, perfect.
So 2 people in the car, it's 2 liters. Anything over and above that, as long as you are declaring it, you're okay. Because you will pay duties and taxes on it.
Okay, I have no problems paying duties and taxes to bring because I will make 4 gallons of mead. I don't know what that translates into liters. I'll pay taxes on it.
Multiply that by 3. Say, hang on a sec. Where's calculator? Calc.
Math,
4
no.
times 3.785 because there's 3.785 liters per gallon. 15.14 liters of mead. That's a fuck ton of mead.
That's a lot of meat.
That's okay. And you want to know why? Because I'll be making it with Florida orange blossom honey.
Ooh,
Yes. So McCoy's, by the way, if you're familiar with that, Crit.
no.
I kind of want a beer now, and I've already had half a bottle of wine.
So, but that's another thing because what if I'm going to do it? I'm going to combine it with like not only the Florida aspect with the orange blossom honey, but I also want to like get some of your favorite fruits in there too and bring in a couple of different flavors. So
Ooh.
That's
yeah.
another conversation you and I need to have, Lumi. I need to get started.
Oh, absolutely. So, but other than that, so Crit Code is going to be awesome, and they're going to let us know when it is that we need to go. I need to know a year in
Yep.
advance, by the way. So,
Same.
easy.
because
Alright.
if you want a good mead, I need at least a year.
Mhm.
All that, and you guys need your passports and everything.
I already
else.
got that. I already got that for the next 10 years. I'm on lock.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Eh.
I just need to do
Mine
it. I just need a time so that way I can go get it.
Oh, I got my Nexus because I'm a nerd.
So, other than that, more interesting things from the Crit Code. Be sure to follow Needs Espresso and IME21 on Spoutable
Everything.
and Twitter. No, I don't think they're on Mastodon or anything like that.
Nope.
I know I'm literally everywhere.
I don't like Mastodon because if someone doesn't like it, they can just turn off the server and you'll lose everything. Because
Eh,
it's one person. Yeah, it's federated and allows content from other servers, but the problem is it's one person controlling it. If they don't like it, if they just give up one day and they're like, "Man, I'm done," you're fucked.
well, if you stick with like Mastodon Social as far as your main login is concerned, you should be fine because that's run by the Mastodon Foundation. So that's where I'm at. That's just like Mastodon.art is also the same way. But Lumi, what is Lumi doing? Let's
What
go with
is
that.
Lumi doing?
It is Art Month, and we're in full swing. My luminary tech priest entry to the Dankwater Tea House has gone shittily. Apparently, color blocking looks ugly. Amy thinks it looks like the Fabricator General, which I'm kind of proud of and
Yes.
sad at the same time.
No, it's fantastic because he wants to know why all the meat is bothering him.
Indeed.
Why
So-
is the meat bothering me?
I've also joined an art fight. Art fight sounds like a lot of fun. And as soon as I'm done with this challenge at Dankwart's Paintwater Tea House, I said it right. I'm going to start focusing on attacking folks who are not vampires and are werewolves in art fight. and drawing their OCs and having a lot of fun and doing a lot of art practice. I really want July to be a growth period for me. And this is on top of keeping track of nightly streams and making sure the shorts are uploaded and pumping the podcast because the podcast is awesome. And yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I'm having a good time. And I hope you join me for some of my art streams and give me good ideas and then voice chat and everything else. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Also, remember, don't play a game, or don't let a goldfish play a game before you do, because you
Oh,
actually want to know what bosses the goldfish fight.
that is a discussion after Cajun goes to bed or if he's going to be around because we are
I'm
at the end
glad
of
we
time.
spent an hour dissecting that. I really
I
am.
really wish I would have recorded that of all the like analysis that we did. Going, oh, look there, look there. No, he was going left. It says right on there, and he was going left. It turned out, and like it was a lot of fun. I really wish I would have recorded it because that would have been awesome.
And y'all gonna have to catch me on that. Catch me up on that later because I need to go to bed.
I can do that on Tuesday. Speaking of, because
Sounds good.
Cajun needs to go to bed, and let's be courteous to Cajun. Everyone, have a great week. We'll see you next time for episode 39 of the UDP broadcast. Title unknown at this moment. So keep an eye on Twitter.
Scones are
and-
sandwiches.
Yes.
And-
That's going to be the new title.
Yes,
Thank you.
Scones are- you know what? I will just call it that, and people will be like, I see
Oh,
what they
no.
did there.
It's
No,
a throwback.
And always remember, don't be a dick.
Don't dick a bee.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't take a peek. Whoa. Oh, God.
That escalated really quickly.
Goodbye, chat. Well,
Bye,
goodbye.
chat.
Goodbye.
Stay tuned for the post show.